you dare look down on me!" I shouted in Kale's face before storming off into the woods. Who does this guy think he is anyway? Just some famous bully from school. Thank goodness I still have Dante. How am I even getting back to school now? Should've just skipped this dumb competition. Holy guacamole! I screamed as the snake lifted its head. Dante swooped in, playing a catchy tune on a flute. The snake started vibing along.
You okay, Arya?
Before I could reply, Kale swooped in and yeeted the snake into the bushes.
We don't have time for this snake charmer show. Don't forget we're stuck on a deserted island, and there's a huge storm coming.
As much as I hate him, I couldn't stop myself from glancing up at the sky, which was getting all dark and spooky. Kale was right. Worse things were headed our way. Hey there, I'm Arya, a fabulous, talented girl in high school. Yep, I have everything, except for one thing, a boyfriend. I tried dating once. My friends set me up with this guy. They said we'd be perfect, but the date, it was a train wreck. The guy was a total nerd, and I dressed all cute for our park date and suggested the teacup ride. Long story short, he threw up all over my favorite hat. After that, I didn't reply to his messages. What else could I do? Sorry, but I'm waiting for my knight in shining armor. Yeah, nope. So I did the only thing I could think of. I ghosted him. I was about to give up on finding my knight when my friends, yep, them again, signed me up for a treasure hunt during our school trip. A treasure hunt on an island. The catch? I was the only girl.
Listen up, contestants. The rules are simple. You'll be divided into teams of 3. Each team gets a map leading to hidden treasure on the island. The first team to find the treasure and return it here wins a grand prize.
Sounds easy but challenging, right? Can my perfect skin even survive a whole day out there?
Team 1 will include Arya. Oh, the only girl. Then there's Dante and Kyle. A strong team.
Kale? For real? Kale swaggered over to me with that annoying smirk, like he already knew he'd win. I couldn't deny it, he was hot. But he was also the school's worst bully. I remembered Kale once made a kid lick his shoe because the poor guy accidentally dropped ice cream on it. Bottom line, Kale was the demon everyone steered clear of.
Dante, the new student. Is he here yet?
Right here.
A hand shot up from the crowd and this guy stepped forward. I was glued to him. That face, that smile, he could make any girl swoon. He was perfect. Dante walked over to me. I instinctively reached out expecting a handshake, but instead he kissed my hand. My heart nearly burst and I felt like I'd get a nosebleed any second.
Nice to meet you, Arya. Cut the cheesy stuff, loser.
Kale rudely shoved Dante and shot me a death glare. Guess the game started before the treasure hunt did. The trip started smoothly, almost peaceful. Dante rowed the boat while I studied the treasure map, trying to figure out the easiest route. Meanwhile, Kale stood at the front of the boat, one leg propped up like he was Captain Cool. Hello? You think you're Luffy from One Piece or something?
Nah, I'm more of a Zoro fan.
What the waffles? He didn't even get that I was roasting him. Then the wind picked up, the water got choppy. Panic surged through me as the boat began to rock.
Hold on tight.
Before I could scream, water started flooding the boat. In a flash, the boat shattered into pieces.
Jump! We're going under!
Seeing me freeze, Dante grabbed my arm and looked at me with determination.
Let's go, princess.
The shock of the cold water hit me like a punch and I gasped as the waves tossed me around. In a split second, I lost Dante's grip. But then, Kale was there, his arm wrapping around my waist, pulling me through the waves toward the shore.
Keep kicking, weakling!
Too exhausted to argue, I clung to Kale's neck. Dante was right behind us and we made it to the shore.
That was fun, right? I didn't think this dumb contest would be so thrilling. We need to find shelter.
Dante calmly scanned the distance where a massive storm was brewing. We decided to keep searching for the treasure until nightfall. After all, what else were we supposed to do? Kale wouldn't stop teasing me and it was driving me up the wall. If you hate me so much, why even bother saving me?
If I didn't, there'd be no weaklings left for heroes like me to save.
Don't you dare look down on me! I yelled in Kale's face before storming off into the woods. That guy is the absolute worst. But I hadn't gone far when a snake appeared at my feet and my soul nearly left my body. Dante swooped in like a hero, using his skills to mesmerize the snake. Whoa, you're amazing!
I've always got your back, princess.
Kale showed up at that moment, kicking the snake into the bushes like it was nothing.
The competition organizers wouldn't drop us on a dangerous island. It's just for show. But this storm, that's beyond what they planned for.
He was right. Scarier things were waiting for us ahead. Plans changed. We needed to set up camp and build a fire first. With this weather, there was no way the rescue team could get here quickly. Worst case scenario, we'd have to spend the night. We split up to gather firewood. Kale went off on his own while Dante and I stuck together. It had been forever since I'd seen nature this majestic. I eagerly made my way to a cliff, breathing in the fresh air. But suddenly, the ground beneath me gave way and I fell.
Arya!
Dante grabbed my hand just in time, leaving me dangling off the edge of a rock. It wasn't too high, but if I fell, I'd definitely break a leg.
Hold on to me.
We were almost safe when the rock crumpled again, sending us both sliding down.
Can't you two do anything right?
Kale grabbed Dante by the collar and quickly pulled us up. The dude's got some strength, and this was the second time he'd saved me.
I saw a cave over there. Looks like something the organizers set up. Let's check it out.
I pulled out the map to confirm. It was exactly that. Excited, I rushed inside. The treasure was mine! And sure enough, I found a small chest neatly placed on a rock. Too easy! Dante clapped excitedly at my victory, while Kale coldly turned and walked out. Whatever, I didn't need his praise anyway. We had enough firewood and leaves to start a fire and set up camp. Dante taught me how to arrange the logs and use flint to spark a flame. I glanced over at Kale. He was busy setting up the tent with laser focus.
Like this.
Dante took my hand as he struck the flint, sending sparks into the dry grass. Before long, a bright fire was crackling. I could see the flames dancing in his eyes. The wind started howling and the three of us crawled into the tent. The wind outside screamed, sending chills down my spine.
You okay?
Are there ghosts in the forest?
Hey, don't worry. It's just the storm. There's nothing else out there.
His hand touched mine. Dante scooted closer, his arm ready to wrap around me.
Ghosts? Seriously? You're not 5. What's with the cuddling?
Of course it was him. Every time Dante and I got close, Kale found a way to ruin it. Are you jealous?
Jealous? Yeah, right.
He avoided my gaze and the air inside the tent felt thick. Then Kale got up and walked out as the rain began to fall. The rain pounded harder against the tent and Kale still hadn't returned. I'll be right back, I said, dashing out into the downpour. That jerk! Where could he be? I squinted through the sheets of rain and spotted Kale sitting by the water's edge. The sea was raging with giant waves crashing onto the shore. Kale! You can't stay out here! As I got closer, a crack of thunder startled me. Before I knew what was happening, Kale turned and pulled me into his arms, holding me tightly. For a moment, I froze, stunned by the warmth of his strong chest. But I quickly pulled away, my cheeks burning with embarrassment. Let's head back to the tent. This time, Kale didn't argue. We walked back in silence, neither of us daring to mention what had just happened. That night, I felt like my body was on fire. My head throbbed and everything around me blurred.
You're burning up. Rest, Arya.
Kale lay down close beside me, and so did Dante. The warmth of their bodies on either side of me was strangely comforting. I felt safe. In a feverish haze, I felt someone's lips brush mine. Soft, fleeting. Then my mind drifted back into sleep. I woke up the next morning to the loud roar of helicopter blades.
The rescue team's here. Over here! We've got someone who needs medical help!
The fever from the night before left me feeling dizzy. I was immediately placed on a stretcher.
Everything's gonna be okay, Princess.
Dante was the first to visit me at the hospital. He walked in with a bouquet and that warm smile. He told me how the competition organizers freaked out when the storm hit, but my mind drifted somewhere else. It sucked, but I couldn't help feeling disappointed that Kale hadn't come to see me. That night, I got out of bed late, deciding to take a walk to clear my head. To my surprise, I found Kale sitting on a bench right outside my room, fast asleep. My heart skipped a beat. Had he been here the whole time? I slowly walked over, crouching down beside him. He looked different, softer somehow. Without thinking, I reached out and gently touched his lips. The memory of that night on the island flooded back, the softness, and I knew it was him. Kale stirred awake, looking at me in confusion. Why didn't you come in to see me? Why sit out here? Let's take a walk.
Not scared of ghosts anymore?
You'll protect me, right? Kale smiled and my face instantly heated up. We walked side by side in the hospital garden, not saying a word for a few minutes. Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought teasing you was the best way to get your attention. And hey, it worked, didn't it?
Yeah, I hated your guts. By the way, I know you found that treasure chest first and let me take the credit.
You figured it out, huh?
Why do you care about me so much?
Let me take you back inside.
I nodded, but deep down, I was a little disappointed. That wasn't the answer I wanted. The next morning, I was discharged, and Dante was already waiting outside. On the ride home, he excitedly talked about all the things we could do together in the future. But suddenly, he fell silent. What's wrong? I'm listening.
Arya, I need to tell you something important. From the moment I first saw you, I wanted more than just friendship.
His words left me speechless. I was torn. Dante was sweet, kind, but I'm sorry. I don't feel the same way. Dante slammed on the brakes so hard I almost flew out of the car. His face darkened.
Rejected again.
Huh?
You don't remember me, do you? I'm the guy you ghosted after that date. The guy you didn't think deserved a second chance.
Shock hit me. It was him!
I did everything. I thought if I became someone else, you'd love me. But you never wanted me.
What the heck are you talking about?
Yes, I sabotaged the boat to get us stuck. And when you fell for me, I was gonna dump you.
You're crazy. I'm out of here. But no matter how hard I pulled, I couldn't open the car door. Dante laughed maniacally. All that charm and sweetness had been a lie. Someone please save me. Then the window next to Dante shattered and Kale reached in.
You're pathetic. Getting revenge on a girl just because she didn't have feelings for you? And what about you? I know you bribed the organizers to get on her team. You had your own motives. Don't think I don't know.
Kale dragged Dante out of the car and a crowd had to break them apart. They were fighting over me. I waited for Kale outside the police station, relieved nothing too serious had happened. Let's go home. Huh? What's wrong?
Arya.
My heart pounded faster than ever. I knew Kale was about to say something important, what I'd been waiting for.
I want to stay by your side forever. Will you let me protect you?
Was saying I love you really that hard? Why couldn't you just say it?
I didn't have the courage to say anything, so I arranged for us to be on the same team. I just wanted to be close to you.
Just to protect me? You don't want to be my boyfriend?
I was afraid you'd laugh at me or reject me. I didn't want to lose you.
I stood on my tiptoes and kissed him. This is my answer. Next time, don't kiss me when I'm asleep. Kale looked like he was about to cry from happiness. He hugged me tightly. Calm down. I don't want us to get arrested for public disturbance again. I didn't want to be here today, but I had to show up to make my decision known.
Does anyone object to this marriage?
I do. As her daughter, I object. I declared loudly, shocking both my mom and that man. There was no way I was going to call him Dad. I only had one father, the one my mom left behind. Emma, what's wrong with you? Maybe you've moved on, but I haven't. I ran up to the altar, fully intending to ruin this wedding. But Grandma blocked my way and dragged me back to the car. She deserves a better husband than my son. Emma, we should support her. Hey there, I'm Emma, 17 years old. I used to have a happy, complete family. My mom was a teacher and my dad, a businessman, was always busy with his work. Until one day, he just disappeared. Grandma told me that my dad ran off with another woman while on a business trip abroad. I tried not to believe it, but then my mom found someone new too. My happy family was split into two, actually 3. Mom's new life, Dad's new life, and me, the old me. That's why I tried to wreck my mom's wedding, to salvage whatever little love was left, but my attempt failed. After the wedding disaster, I couldn't bear to face them anymore. I told Mom I wanted to go to boarding school. It was a way to escape the mess at home and, most importantly, to be free. I went online and sent applications to every boarding school I could find. I didn't care where they were as long as they were far away. Mom seemed worried on the day I packed my bags and left. I felt relieved, finally finding a place where I could hide and forget everything. But I was wrong. The school was huge, located on an island, and it looked just like a fortress. My jaw dropped in shock as the boat docked. While I was rummaging through my admission papers to check the information again, a sharp voice cut through the air. Welcome to the Disciplinary School for Excellence. I'm the principal of this school. A stern woman in a gray uniform, I couldn't see a single muscle on her face move. It seemed like I'd played stupid games and won stupid prizes this time. As we walked through the gloomy halls, there were students there, but they moved silently. It was so weird. I blew a bubble with my gum and let it pop loudly. It might have broken my personal record. The principal turned around to look at me, her face still expressionless. No chewing gum allowed here. I shrugged and kept chewing, but as I glanced around, I noticed how dull the students looked. What made them so boring, I wondered. The principal suddenly stopped and glanced at me again. It seems you haven't read the school rules yet. I shook my head. Rules? Who had time for rules?
Here, students must wear uniforms.
Ah, so those dull uniforms were what made them look so boring. I looked at the students, then shook my head. I was sticking out like a sore thumb compared to them. The principal didn't say another word to me, just pulled out a walkie-talkie, and her voice echoed over the hallway speakers.
All students gather in the courtyard right now.
Then she just left me standing there all alone. The sounds of footsteps grew louder, and the students were moving with strange coordination.
Come on, you're not allowed to wander around here now.
A boy at the end of the line grabbed my arm and pulled me towards the courtyard. All the students were lined up straight, facing the stage where the principal stood.
My name's Corey. What's yours?
Emma. Corey was standing right in front of me, listening intently to every word the woman on stage said. I put on my headphones and swayed to the music, until everyone turned around and stared at me. Huh? Hello?
Emma, step up here.
I walked up to the stage bewildered, only for the principal to snatch my headphones out of my ears and smash them on the ground. What are you doing?
This is a disciplinary school. You are required to follow the rules. Here, it's all about studying. No music. All electronic devices are confiscated upon arrival, and you must wear the uniform instead of these flashy clothes.
I like what I'm wearing.
That outfit's awesome.
You're punished, Corey. Come to my office this afternoon. Here is your uniform, and I hope to see you taking things more seriously tomorrow. The assembly is dismissed.
I found my way back to the dorm still fuming. No phone, no headphones. It felt like I'd been sent back to the Stone Age. This school was seriously messed up. As I pushed open the door to my room, I realized that what had just happened wasn't even the worst part. The room was split into two completely different sections. I'm Hazel. Please leave your shoes neatly by the door. Your area is over there. Don't leave your stuff lying around. The girl named Hazel didn't even look at me as she spoke, busy organizing her books by color and size. Are you kidding me? Just like the principal's face, Hazel's expression didn't change at all when she looked at me. No kidding. That night, a gnawing hunger kept me awake. Even though there was a strict curfew after 9 p.m., I decided to sneak out to find the kitchen. I tiptoed through the empty hallways but froze when I saw a shadow up ahead. My heart pounded, and I was about to bolt when I realized it was Corey. What are you doing here?
Just got back from detention.
Oh, right, but at this hour? It's nearly midnight!
Yeah, that's normal. But what are you doing out here?
We sat down in a corner before Corey handed me a sweet pastry.
Sometimes they punish us by making us skip meals, so I'm always prepared.
That's horrible!
That's when I found out Corey was 2 years younger than me and had been here for a few weeks.
Here, all they care about is obedience. Every punishment is meant to scare us, like Hazel.
My roommate? What about her?
I only heard about it, but she's been here for a long time. Hazel used to be really messy. One night, she got caught breaking the rules. The principal made her reorganize every book in the library, all night long.
In that gigantic library? That's insane. This place is like a robot factory. Why doesn't anyone stand up to this?
No one knows what really goes on here. The principal's got too much power. Plus, most of us are sent here by our families because we're troublemakers. My dad dumped me here for spending too much of his money. So, what about you?
I dodged Corey's question. I couldn't tell him that I'd signed myself up for this place. Just a little accident. But Hazel, how could just one night of punishment turn her into that? Before Corey could answer, we both froze when we heard a noise. Corey grabbed my hand and we quickly hid in a supply closet, terrified as the footsteps got closer. Corey moved in closer and I could feel his breath quick and shallow. As we waited in silence, I noticed Corey glancing at me, his eyes lingering a bit too long, and I suddenly felt awkward. Oh, for fudge's sake, snap out of it! He's just a kid, 2 years younger than me. Finally, the footsteps faded away. We relaxed and let out a sigh of relief. The next morning, I was still determined not to wear that boring uniform. I stuck out like a sore thumb in math class, catching the teacher's constant attention.
Emma, can you solve a quick problem for me?
Huh, you want to see an impressive performance? I can calculate faster than anyone here.
We have a math whiz here, the queen of quick calculations.
Child's play. The teacher handed me a paper full of equations, and just 30 seconds later, I was done. The whole class started murmuring. The teacher looked at my results, her eyes widening before her brows furrowed.
All these answers are wrong?
Yep, I just said I could calculate quickly. Didn't say anything about accuracy. The teacher's face turned bright red with anger, looking just like a tomato. And I was kicked out of class that day. At lunch in the cafeteria, I decided to eat a ton so I wouldn't have to sneak out later. As soon as the food came out, I ate like a hippo devouring a watermelon, not caring about anyone around me. I only stopped when I felt a sharp pain in my head. The lunch lady had whacked me with a giant ladle.
Here we start eating when all the students have their food. This isn't a soup kitchen.
I felt embarrassed as the kids around me started covering their mouths, trying not to laugh. Just as I was about to run away, Corey popped up in front of me with a big grin. Startled, I jumped and my tray of food went flying. Even worse, the delicious bowl of soup landed right on the principal's head. That's just my luck. The dead silence was so intense that even my gulp sounded like an atomic bomb. The principal didn't lose her temper. She quietly pulled out a red card. So, I'm expelled? Awesome! Goodbye, everyone! I'm out of here! Corey grabbed my hand and shook his head slightly. The fear on his face made me a little worried. When the red card was revealed, the atmosphere around me seemed to change. The students, instead of their usual blank faces, looked at me with pure annoyance. As I walked back to the dorm, I could feel the weight of their stares and hear the whispers right behind my back. Even Hazel, my gloomy roommate, seemed different. I can't share a room with you anymore. Take care. And just like that, I was alone. Honestly, being alone wasn't so bad. No more annoying rules from Hazel. I kicked my shoes off and jumped onto my bed for a nap. After 2 hours, I flung open my room door with an unusually refreshed feeling, ready for another round of rebellious antics. But as soon as I stepped one foot out of the room, I stepped right onto a sticky mousetrap. Who the heck left this thing here? I roared, yanking the filthy thing off my beloved Jimmy Choo's. Before I could free myself, Corey came rushing over.
Let me help you. It wasn't left here by accident.
Then what the fudge is this?
It's the red card. Now anyone has the right to mess with you.
I froze, trying to process the mess I was trapped in.
Hazel got a red card before too. Within a week, she completely changed.
And he was right. My life turned upside down after I got that dreadful red card. Every morning, I was dragged in front of the entire school, where the principal held me up as the perfect example of what not to do. I tried to resist in the first few days, but eventually, I got used to it. I'd just hum a song in my head, drowning out the principal's cold voice. Lunch was a true nightmare. I sat alone in a corner with a tray of food so tiny it was only enough to feed a bird, and no meat at all. I glared at my tray in frustration when Corey came over and gently placed a big meatball on my plate, but his gesture only made the bitterness in my chest flare up. I stood up and marched over to the kitchen area, slamming the tray down in front of the servers. Why is my portion smaller? And where's the meat? The lunch lady didn't even look at me. She just answered nonchalantly, "Red card." I stomped back to my seat, fuming. But there was nothing I could do. The long, dreadful day ended with cleaning the bathrooms. Another punishment, another way to break me. But I wasn't going to let them win. I had to get out of here. Even the teachers knew how to mess with me. They promised that if I passed the exams, I'd get rid of the red card and return to a normal life. But no matter how hard I tried, the exams were impossible. Nothing like anything I'd studied. My exams were different from the others. Like they were written in a foreign language. I knew they were setting me up. That night, I snuck into the storage room. I needed to find my belongings to contact someone, anyone, outside this nightmare. After rummaging through boxes, I finally found my phone. I hurriedly dialed my mom's number, praying she'd pick up and rescue me. But before the call could connect, a dark figure loomed over me. I looked up to see the principal emotionless, not saying a word. She snatched the phone from my hand and smashed it against the wall. "No contact with the outside world! You monster!" I only had time to shout one sentence before two burly figures grabbed me and threw me into a pitch-black room. There was only a single dim light shining down on a wooden chair in the center of the room. The principal tossed a thick book at me filled with thousands of the school's rules. They wanted me to memorize them all. I slumped down in the chair, exhausted. "Over a month with a red card. You're tougher than I thought, Emma." I jumped, my eyes darting into the corners of the room. I wasn't alone here. Who's there? My eyes locked onto a shadow moving slowly. Then the figure came closer, the light just enough to reveal a tired face. "Hazel? What are you doing here? I thought you always followed the rules." Well, it's a long story. In the dimly lit room with just one flickering bulb, I found myself face to face with Hazel. You've got me curious. How did you end up stuck here too? Long story short, every time a student disobeys and makes the principal mad, she punishes me too. I still don't know why. That's unbelievable! So you got dragged into this because of me? That doesn't matter. What matters is, do you want to get out of this room soon? I nodded like crazy, not needing to think twice. Hazel leaned in close and whispered an escape plan into my ear. Huh? That's such an old trick. Will it even work? Just do it. 30 minutes later, I started yelling at the top of my lungs and banging on the walls. Help! Help! Hazel passed out! And to my surprise, it actually worked. The door swung open and two burly men rushed in to carry Hazel out. I tagged along behind them only to face the principal again. Hazel fainted from hunger. Do you really want everyone in this school to know that you're endangering students' lives? I saw the principal frown. It was the first time I'd ever seen an expression on her face. A miracle! Sensing an opportunity, I kept whining until she agreed to take away my red card and sent us both back to the dorm. As soon as Hazel and I got back, Corey ran over and hugged me tightly.
Emma, are you okay? I was so worried.
All right, no need to get all worked up, kiddo. It was just a trick to get out of that solitary room.
If anything happened to you, I'd rather die.
Why? We don't even have anything to do with each other.
I like you. A lot.
This kid?
Don't call me a kid. I'm grown up. I can do anything you want.
Amidst all the chaos I was dealing with, I didn't think I was ready for a confession right then. I want to escape from here, from this creepy school. Do it! Corey looked surprised, then lowered his head in silence. I turned away feeling a bit guilty, but too exhausted. That was enough for today. In the days that followed, Hazel and I started talking more. It turned out she could actually laugh at my silly jokes and joined in on bad-mouthing the cranky principal. And to keep Hazel out of trouble, I stopped being so rebellious. You know, if you follow the rules, you'll have a normal life and get to go home sooner. Maybe Hazel was right. Fitting in was the only way to get out of here. I started wearing the uniform to class and stopped teasing the teachers during math lessons. The principal still looked at me with that expressionless face, but I knew she was pleased. One afternoon, the three of us were assigned to clean out an old storage room. The place was dusty with chairs piled up on top of each other and a few old plaster statues covered in cobwebs. I let out a sigh and got to work. If only we had some music, cleaning would be so much easier. To break the monotony, I ran over to a large bronze statue in the corner of the room and called out to my two friends. In fairy tales, if you twist a statue's head, a secret room opens up.
Yeah, right. That only happens in fairy tales.
I absent-mindedly twisted the statue's head, but to my horror, it fell to the ground. Hazel couldn't help but laugh at the sight of my pale face. Everything here is just too old. Then a deep rumble echoed, and the wall behind the statue slowly slid open, revealing a secret room.
No way.
We stood there totally stunned. The three of us exchanged glances, unsure whether to venture inside. We finally flipped a coin to decide. Heads we go in, tails we go back, okay? The coin landed on tails. Our decision was made. The hallway inside was narrow and damp, and I had to pinch my nose to keep from sneezing. We should have gone back. Shh, otherwise we'll live our whole lives wondering what's in here.
Exactly.
We might get punished. We stepped into a room filled with old photos, military medals, and documents all covered in a thick layer of dust. It looked like we were about to get a history lesson right here.
The principal used to be an officer. Look, back when she was young and wore a uniform.
And now she's turned into a grumpy old lady. I mimicked the principal's cold demeanor, making Corey burst into laughter. Meanwhile, Hazel stood silently, staring at a picture on the wall. She was crying. That's some shocking news, but wow, it's a long story. Stay tuned till the end. After that day, Hazel withdrew again, not even talking to me. I didn't know how to help her. One night, I was jolted awake by someone shaking my shoulder.
Emma, wake up! I'm getting you out of here.
What? Where?
Out of here! I told you I'd do anything you wanted.
Corey grabbed my hand and we ran out of the room. We tried to move silently through the hallway, but as we turned a corner, we nearly crashed into a janitor's cart.
Phew. We're good. There's no one here. Let's go. We only have 10 minutes left.
What are you two doing here?
We froze in place at the sound of the lunch lady's voice. She was the one who had whacked me on the head with a giant ladle before, and it seemed she recognized me.
You again. Up to no good, huh?
We're being punished.
Ah, you naughty kids, get in there and wash those dishes.
A mountain of trays was piled up, waiting for us to clean. And I'd never been so diligent in my life. In just 10 minutes, everything was spotless.
Hurry, it's coming.
But you still haven't told me what it is. We climbed the narrow, winding stairs up to the rooftop. As soon as the door opened, a strong gust of wind hit us. There, a sleek helicopter was waiting like a giant dragonfly, its blades still spinning furiously.
Come on, before the principal catches us.
I took a step forward, reaching out to grab his hand. But just as I was about to take it, my thoughts suddenly shifted to Hazel. I couldn't leave her behind. Those tear-filled eyes of hers from the other day, I just couldn't forget them.
Hurry up, Emma!
The alarm blared loudly. The principal had ordered all students to report outside their rooms. She was determined to catch the would-be escapee. The tension was thick as students lined up outside, their faces pale and worried. Hazel stood alone sweating. The principal approached, getting closer, and Hazel was on the verge of tears.
Where's Emma?
Hazel couldn't speak. The principal's eyes narrowed suspiciously. She flung open the door and stormed into the room. Her eyes scanned every corner, then moved straight to the bed. When she yanked the blanket off, I sat up, pretending to be groggy. Is it morning already? What's with all the noise? The principal's going to punish everyone! She stood there staring at me as if trying to find something out of place. After a long silence, she turned away.
It seems there's been a mistake. The students may return to bed.
I winked and smiled at Hazel. Lucky we got back just in time. Both Corey and I agreed to stay. What I wanted now wasn't to leave this place, but to change it. The next morning, Corey and I, as planned, prepared a music player and sneaked into the broadcasting room. Every morning at 7 a.m., the students had to listen to the school's endless list of rules to make sure we always complied, and it made us sick. Today, I was going to breathe some life into this place. Just as we were about to start the music, another student on duty poked his head into the room.
Hey, what are you guys doing?
Not missing a beat, Corey and I quickly ducked past him and ran down the hallway, breathless and hoping we wouldn't get caught. His plan was a bust. But then music suddenly blared throughout the school. It was the song we'd chosen, bright and lively. That guy helped us out. Students peeked out from their classrooms, looking confused at first. Then they started smiling, swaying, and even dancing in the hallways. It was a small victory, but it felt huge. Corey grabbed my hand and we danced too. I hadn't felt this happy in months. The music cut off abruptly after just a few minutes and Hazel came running, her face filled with fear.
Something big just happened, guys!
Immediately, the principal's voice boomed over the speakers, her usual calm shattered.
All students assemble!
Today, the assembly wasn't quiet. Instead, it was filled with hushed whispers. They were buzzing about the unprecedented event. Who could have done something so outrageous?
Due to the blatant disregard for the school's rules, the entire student body will face disciplinary action unless the culprit is pointed out.
The tension was thick as we stood in line, the harsh sunlight beating down on us. Even Corey, usually so confident, looked worried. My eyes met the principal's for a moment.
All of you will take a test. Anyone who fails will receive a red card.
The murmurs grew louder, and then a girl raised her hand and pointed at me. It was Emma! I saw her near the broadcasting room this morning! All eyes turned to me, but what else could I do but strike a slay pose? I was used to the attention by now.
It was me. I'm the one who did it. No, it was me. I'm the one who played the music.
It was the guy who had helped us, and then a few others stood up to take the blame too. I never imagined such a grand scene.
Silence! Distribute the tests!
As the tests were handed out, the principal began pacing between the rows.
Without discipline, none of you can become good citizens. Without order, without rules, you will all fall into chaos.
I tried to focus on the test in front of me, but her words made me uneasy. I glanced around and a few students had already started crying. The atmosphere was suffocating. This school was a giant ghost devouring our spirits. I was about to stand up and protest, but someone beat me to it. That's enough! The principal stopped, turning to face whoever had dared to interrupt her. The entire courtyard fell silent and all eyes turned to the source of the voice. It was Hazel. She stood there, her hands clenched into fists. This isn't a disciplinary school. It's a terrible place where emotions are punished, where individuality is crushed. You're training us to become emotionless robots. I couldn't believe it. Hazel, who had always followed the rules so strictly, was standing up to the principal. You've trained us to be obedient, but you've forgotten one thing. We're still human, and no punishment can change that. You've pushed us to the point where we can't take it anymore. Mom! The last words hung in the air like a bolt of lightning. The principal's face was a mix of shock and disbelief as she stepped back. The entire courtyard erupted in gasps of astonishment. They couldn't believe that Hazel was the principal's daughter.
Silence! I said everyone be quiet!
But the storm had already hit. There was no going back now. Only Corey and I knew that. The day we wandered into that secret room, we discovered something else too.
Oh my gosh, the principal has a daughter?
The picture on the wall was old. The principal, much younger, stood proudly in her military uniform, holding a baby in her arms.
I have a photo just like this from when I was little.
That revelation hit us like a ton of bricks. We dug through more documents. Turns out the principal had been a member of a strict militia, but she'd been expelled. Disgraced because she got pregnant by a fellow soldier. She was forced to leave, her future ripped away from her, and this school was her twisted way of regaining control.
She hates me because she lost everything because of me.
It was sad but true. The pieces all fit together now. The principal's coldness, her obsession with order, and the harsh way she treated Hazel. We found everything behind the wall in the old storage room. I thought that room was buried in the earthquake years ago. Nope, it's still there, but your regime is over. I grabbed Hazel's hand and declared it. I knew this was our moment. Corey, grinning from ear to ear, took his test paper, crumpled it up, and tossed it into the air. One by one, the other students followed, their papers fluttering like confetti, marking the end of a harsh regime. After everything, I realized that running away wasn't the answer. My family might not be perfect, but they care about me more than anything else. At least they don't let me go hungry. Maybe it's time I stopped fighting them and started learning to love them. We all jumped when we saw the front gate swing open. Through the dust and rubble, I saw my parents rushing in. My heart skipped a beat. They came for me. My mom's eyes were full of tears as she pulled me into a tight hug.
We were so scared, Emma. We couldn't reach you. He nearly turned the world upside down trying to find you.
I glanced at my stepdad standing a little ways back watching us. He seemed to be smiling. Having a new dad wasn't as bad as I thought. Hazel walked over to me, not saying a word, just hugging me tightly. A silent thank you for everything. I told my parents about Hazel and they wanted to adopt her. So, we're roommates again, huh, gloomy girl? Hazel just broke down, crying her heart out. Corey, my bright and loyal partner in crime, was clinging to his wealthy family. Seeing me watching, Corey ran over. He hesitated for a moment, then spread his arms wide, clearly hoping for a hug. But instead of hugging him, I leaned in and kissed his cheek. Thank you, Corey, for always being there for me. His face turned as red as a tomato, and we both smiled, happier than ever. We were free, and we had a future to look forward to together. Marcus carefully followed the direction arrows I had posted on the floor. When he stopped right in front of the stage, the curtain slowly pulled back, upbeat music started, and the flash mob group began to dance their hearts out. Now it was my turn. As the dancers moved to the sides, I stepped into the spotlight in the center of the stage. Marcus, I like you. Will you be my Valentine? I held my breath, waiting for Marcus's response. And then he stepped forward and hugged me.
I can't. Sorry, Lydia.
All right, confessing and getting rejected. Who hasn't been there? Or not. Anyway, I wasn't going to let things end there. Hey guys, I'm Lydia from Michigan. Before I tell you what happened next, don't forget to like and subscribe. As you can see, I didn't look like the attractive and popular girls you usually saw on MDA. Thanks to puberty, my face was covered in acne, I had giant glasses, and my hair was a mess. I never dared to dream about having a boyfriend, until I realized I had a crush on Marcus, the handsome class president. He was sweeter than any candy in the world. But that was also the perfect reason for Natalie, the most popular girl in school, to make fun of me when she caught me sneaking into the bathroom to write in my diary. Guys, listen to this. Today, Em smiled at me twice on the field. Every time he scored, he looked my way. Babe, this Em isn't Marcus, is it? With all the pretty girls around, why would Marcus look at a lamppost like you? No, it's not him. Give me back my diary. Natalie held my diary over the toilet with a wicked smile. I hate that you think Marcus notices you. If he's interested in anyone, it's me. I told you it's not him. I don't like Marcus. Just stop it. Nope, I need to settle this uneasy feeling. Compete with me to win Marcus's heart. If I win, your diary gets displayed page by page in the schoolyard. If you win, I'll give it back and nothing will happen. Deal? Natalie and her friends took my diary and left. With no other choice, I confessed to Marcus. His response caused a sensation throughout the school. Natalie had to return my diary with a sour face, but no one knew the truth that Marcus had rejected me. Since that day, he stopped smiling at me like before. One evening, as I was scrolling through Facebook, a picture of Natalie in a cute bikini at the beach appeared on my feed. It wouldn't have been a big deal if I hadn't noticed Marcus liked that photo! I checked 100 times to make sure it was really him or not, but the truth couldn't be changed. No, I believed I still had a chance. I sneaked into my mom's room and borrowed some makeup items that I thought I could use. Well, let's try wearing makeup to school tomorrow. Let's see if these things can make me prettier like they say. As soon as I stepped into the classroom, the atmosphere became dead silent, and everyone stared at me with their mouths wide open. Not even a second later, loud laughter filled the room. Seriously, Lydia? You look like a dumb and useless version of Pennywise. It's horrible.
Enough! Don't forget we have a test today. The teacher will be here soon.
Marcus glared at me and then buried his head back in his notes. Embarrassment washed over me, making my face burn. After that, the teacher made me go to the bathroom to wipe off all the makeup. Nothing could be worse. After that day, I decided I had to seriously learn about makeup. I started spending a lot of time watching makeup tutorial videos, working extra hours, and saving up to buy makeup. Things were going fine until my school grades started dropping to C's and D's because I didn't have time to focus on my studies. Mom got really mad, confiscated all my makeup, and grounded me for a week. Okay, school should always come first. Don't follow me. It's just I can't give up the desire to become pretty. I secretly took back my makeup at night to practice and returned it before Mom woke up. Thanks to my hard work, my makeup skills improved significantly. Just then, Mom dropped a bombshell. I had to change schools and follow my family to another city because of Dad's job. That day, I used the excuse of a lecture to stay alone with Marcus after class and break the news. Marcus's face showed a hint of surprise before turning cold again. Anyway, I wanted to thank you, Marcus.
Me? Why?
You were the first person here who cared about me. Maybe you didn't notice, but you gave me a lot of strength. Thank you for everything.
If that's how you really feel, then okay, you're welcome.
Marcus said goodbye without another word. I felt like something was off, but we didn't speak again until the day I moved. In our new place while unpacking, I saw my makeup and realized this could be a chance to change my life. Covering my pimples, adding some blush, mascara, and finally lipstick, I happily looked at the pretty girl in the mirror. Now no one would know how ugly I used to look. Just as I hoped, everyone at my new school liked me. For the first time in my life, I experienced the perks of pretty privilege.
Lydia, you look even more beautiful today than usual.
Let me carry your bag. Don't fight me for this. My goddess, you don't need to do anything. Just sit there and I'll bring you the entire cafeteria menu.
I even got invited to parties for the first time. There I met Elliot, a member of the school's basketball team. He approached me and pulled me into a romantic dance. Before long, we became a couple. This is a life I had never dared to dream of. Gradually, I couldn't live without my makeup. I'd put it on first thing in the morning, only removing it before bed, and I'd get furious if anyone tried to touch my makeup. Everything was smooth until I went to New York for college. I was chosen to be one of the school's representatives for a model ambassador competition. While reading the list of contestants, suddenly a familiar name caught my attention. Natalie. Could it be? And there was no doubt about it. She appeared right next to me after that, followed by Marcus? Jeez Louise, I couldn't catch a break. From that point on, I was on high alert whenever I was at school, but fate had a way of messing with me. One day when Elliot and I were on a date at the mall, I ran into Marcus and Natalie. My heart skipped a beat the moment Marcus looked into my eyes. Why is he always with Natalie? Are they dating? I pulled Elliot and hurried towards the nearby arcade. But it seemed Marcus noticed me and started following us. Marcus kept trailing us like a game of cat and mouse. After a while, I started to get annoyed. Hey you! Why are you and your girlfriend following us? What do you want?
How dare you? Wait a minute, Lydia, is that you? No way! Look at this, the nerd with thick glasses and a face full of pimples from high school! Remember her? She was in our class!
I don't know you. Elliot, let's go.
Hold on, is this how you treat an old friend?
Enough, Natalie. Can't you see she's uncomfortable?
So what? She bumped into us first. Elliot, right? You must be her boyfriend. I have something interesting to show you.
Natalie pulled out her phone and showed him an old photo of me looking awful. I tried to grab the phone, but Elliot got it first.
Who is this ugly mess? Why are you showing me this?
I was frozen, his words hitting me like arrows, but Natalie wasn't done.
You'll see soon enough.
She grabbed a bottle of water and splashed it on my face. My makeup started to run, and as I tried to wipe it off, my bare skin became more visible.
Lydia? Is that really you?
Guess you never got to see her natural beauty, huh?
You've gone too far, Natalie. Why do you hate me so much? What did I ever do to you?
Because you keep reaching for things you don't deserve, you pathetic loser. No amount of makeup will ever fix that ugly face.
And you're any better? Lydia's talented and kind, unlike you.
Natalie was speechless with rage. She threw the empty bottle at us and stormed off. Elliot stood there, indifferent to my humiliation. Elliot, you...
Listen, Lydia, this is a lot to take in. I need time to think. We'll talk later.
Then he left me collapsed and just kept walking.
Are you okay, Lydia?
I didn't answer, trying to hold back my tears. Marcus offered to take me home, but I refused. And after that, there was no after that. Elliot didn't want to see me again and even broke up with me through a text message. Turns out all he ever loved was my pretty face. And I'd been blinded by all the stupid compliments. Things got worse when I went to school the next day. The atmosphere felt weird. That pretty face was all fake. You should see her bare, hideous face.
Gross. She made me lose faith in people.
It felt like a deja vu of my high school days. All the shame and sadness came rushing back as if they never left. I tried to calm myself, but I couldn't shake the bad feeling about showing up at the model ambassador contest. My intuition was right. On the day of the contest, as soon as I stepped into the hall, I was horrified to see my old photos plastered everywhere. Someone had played a cruel prank on me. I frantically tore them all down while everyone stared at me in shock. That's when I realized I'd always hated and denied my true self. Instead of trying to improve, I'd maintained a fake facade, living in fear of being exposed one day. I ran into the dressing room, tears streaming down my face. Marcus followed me in. He quietly sat next to me and showed me a photo.
This is a picture from when you won first place in the school's math competition. You know, Lydia, I've never seen a smile as beautiful as this.
Really?
Mars and Earth would crash tomorrow if I'm lying.
You can't be sure that won't happen.
I'm sure, Lydia. You never needed makeup. When you were focused on solving a tough problem, playing happily with Mr. Dave's dog, or delighting in hot crispy fries, every single moment was beautiful. It's a shame I couldn't tell you this sooner.
You're lying. Didn't you reject my confession because I was ugly?
Didn't you confess to me just to get your diary back? You said that you don't like me.
Turns out Marcus knew all about the deal between me and Natalie back then. He even hugged and held my hand after the confession so I could get my diary back and not be teased. Marcus, that confession was genuine. I really liked you. I was too embarrassed to admit it then. And besides, I thought you liked pretty girls like Natalie.
Who told you that?
Well, you two were dating, weren't you? You even liked her photo on Facebook before.
That never happened? My family and Natalie's have known each other for a long time, so she always assumed we'd date and get married. I never said I liked her. As for the photo, I remember now. One day her phone died and she asked to make a call for mine. I swear, she must have done it herself.
Why do you even care to explain to me?
'Cause I don't want you to misunderstand. I like you, Lydia. Only you. You've always been the most beautiful to me, with or without makeup.
Just then, the MC announced it was almost time for my turn in the contest. I didn't have time to redo my makeup, so I just wiped my smudged face before stepping onto the stage. Though I was still nervous in front of the audience and the bright lights highlighting my bare face, I felt relieved, as if I'd been freed from a heavy burden. I didn't win the contest that day, but it was okay. I was proud of facing my true self and overcoming my insecurities. That was a victory more important than any other. After that, I found the right way to take care of myself, improving my looks from the inside out. Now I'm confident in my bare face, but still need makeup sometimes, right? Oh, and about Marcus. He jumped for joy when he heard I broke up with Elliot. We're still getting to know each other and have a date tonight. I'll catch up with you for more next time. See you later.
In the waiting room, I gazed at myself in the mirror, wearing a gorgeous wedding dress. I bet my parents are watching over me from heaven right now. In just a few minutes, I, Estella, would become the wife of the richest man in town, as a way to pay off my family's huge debt. Suddenly, I heard a soft female voice from the room next door. "Slow down! Someone might see us!"
There's no one to worry about. Everyone's at the main event.
The familiar voice of the man made me shiver. I quietly stepped over and peeked through the slightly open storage room door. A disgusting sight met my eyes. My fiancé was passionately making out with a beautiful waitress in the dark. How could you? They didn't even panic when they saw me. Aaron smirked like it was the most normal thing in the world.
Don't overreact, Estella. You'll have to get used to this.
Disgusted, I ran away. What else could I do? I ran away from my own wedding.
Get her!
Aaron's goons started shouting. I grabbed my $1 million wedding dress and ran straight for the main doors, knocking over the huge wedding cake and the banquet table in my haste. "Hi, my name is Estella. Sorry for dragging you into this dark and dirty place with me, but I'm hiding from the people hunting me upstairs.
Find her, no matter what!
I only dared to peek through the sewer cover to see the ground above. People were rushing back and forth, and someone stopped right in front of me. I immediately covered my mouth, praying that they just stopped by chance. But the cover started to move slowly, and I saw his face. It wasn't Aaron or one of his goons. He was a wedding planner. I knew from the pin on his chest. Please, don't tell anyone I'm here. I'm begging you. He looked at me, frowning with hesitation. A voice rang out from a distance, making me shrink back.
Is she there?
Just when I thought I was about to be caught, tears were about to fall, but he shook his head.
She's not a rat. This place stinks. I'm about to puke.
When the goon turned and walked away, I finally dared to breathe. The guy then extended his hand towards me coolly.
I'm Dexter. Let me help you up.
I hesitated for a few seconds before taking his hand. When our hands touched, a breeze blew by, making the moment surprisingly romantic. He held my hand and ran across the road. People gasped as they saw a bride running outside in such a mess, which made us laugh. Then he suddenly pushed me into a corner. What are you doing?
Shh, be quiet.
A group of Aaron's goons were standing there. Dexter stood so close that our lips almost touched. My face got so hot, it could have cooked a steak. He only let go when they left.
I'll take you to my place for one night.
I thanked him and followed Dexter back to his home. After all, I had nowhere else to go. It was a small house at the end of the street, but cozy. I realized Dexter lived with his grandma. When she saw me, she was a bit surprised, but quickly took my hand warmly.
Dexter's girlfriend?
I'm just giving her a place to stay for the night, Grandma. Go ahead and wear my clothes. We need to talk.
We sat across from each other at the dining table. I took a deep breath and started telling Dexter about my terrible fiancé. Dexter frowned occasionally when I talked, but after I finished, he nodded gently, showing he understood.
He often treats the wedding staff poorly. I didn't expect him to be that awful to his fiancée too. I'm sorry to hear what happened to you.
I always wanted to get out of all of this. Thanks for letting me stay. I'll go back home tomorrow.
Home?
I froze, remembering that Aaron had taken our house too. The anger inside of me burned fiercely. One day, I'd crush him.
Stay. If you go back, they'll catch you. Besides, my grandma, she seems to like you.
I saw the kind woman peeking from the doorway. She gave me a warm feeling, like family. Living with Dexter, I tried to repay his kindness by helping around the house. While he was at work, I cooked, cleaned, and took care of his grandma, who always smiled warmly whenever she saw me. One afternoon, while preparing dinner, Dexter's grandma shared some stories about him.
Dexter only seems cold on the outside. Ever since his parents passed away, he's been more reserved. You're the first girl he ever brought home.
Really? He seems very kind, I said as I quickly stirred the soup on the stove.
Yes. He's been working hard to buy medicine for this old lady. He's never complained once.
Our conversation was interrupted when Dexter returned home. I had just finished preparing dinner. The three of us sat down to eat, and they were eager to taste my cooking. So, how is it? It's a secret recipe my mom taught me.
I've never had such delicious soup before.
It would be wonderful if Estella became my granddaughter-in-law.
Her words made both of us blush, but in that moment, I felt the warmth of family again. I made an excuse to leave to hide my red face and suddenly noticed a strange flyer under the door. I picked it up and froze when I read it. Aaron had put a $500,000 bounty to find me. How despicable! Treating me like a piece of property to be bought. I crumpled the paper in anger.
What's wrong, Estella? We haven't finished dinner yet.
I quickly hid the crumpled paper when I saw Dexter, a wave of fear rising inside me. That night, Dexter insisted on giving me his bed while he slept on the floor. I felt a strange mix of comfort and awkwardness in the small room. When everything was silent, the door suddenly burst open under Aaron's kick.
Estella! How dare you run away!
I looked at Dexter in horror, and he just silently moved behind Aaron. He had betrayed me! Aaron lunged at me, grabbing my arm and dragging me away. No, please! I'll work my whole life to pay off the debt! Please let me go! Despite my pleas, he just laughed manically. A thunderclap snapped me out of the nightmare.
What's wrong?
Unable to answer, I was panting in fear. Dexter immediately got up, climbed onto the bed, and hugged me.
I'm here, Estella. You're safe now.
Thank goodness it was just a dream. I clung tightly to his arm and nestled against his strong chest. His warmth gradually calmed me down. I don't remember how I fell back to sleep. The next morning, I woke up to a strange noise. That guy was lying right next to me, face to face. I instinctively placed my hand on his cheek, gently caressing his handsome face. But then I snapped back to reality. It was Dexter. We were holding each other tightly. I jumped up, accidentally kicking him off the bed.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb your sleep. I was trying to go out, but got bumped into the dresser.
I got out of bed and helped her pick up the decorations. Glancing at Dexter, he was groggily trying to understand why he was kicked. So we had slept hugging each other all night. Seeing her mischievous smile, I knew she had witnessed the embarrassing moment. After cleaning up the house, I made sure no one was around before running out to throw the trash. Not even a minute passed before Aaron's goons drove by. I barely managed to avoid their sharp eyes. What worried me the most was Aaron's bounty on my head. That day, Dexter's grandma's illness worsened, and she couldn't walk like usual. I helped Dexter by staying by her bedside all the time. He didn't have enough money to take her to the hospital.
You don't have to worry about this old lady. Save the money for something important.
Your health is the most important. There will be a way.
From that moment, Dexter's attitude changed. He became more silent, often looking at me without saying anything. Had he learned about the bounty and intended to turn me in? I spent that night tossing and turning, thinking. I felt like a burden to Dexter, and more importantly, I had developed feelings for him. I also loved his grandma, and I wanted to do something meaningful for them. Though I didn't want to, I made a decision. It might be what was troubling Dexter too. Waiting until Dexter left the house, I used his phone to text Aaron, pretending to turn myself in so Dexter could get the money to treat his grandma. I went back to the room, wanting to say goodbye but refrained. I would disappear like a wisp of smoke from their lives. When the money was transferred, it was time for me to leave. Aaron grinned smugly when he saw me in his mansion, grabbing my throat tightly.
I spent $500,000 to get you. Do you think you're worth it?
I angrily swatted Aaron's hand away, not wanting to engage with him anymore.
Don't give me that look. If you weren't so pretty, do you think I'd even bother with you? Ha! All right, future wife. I'll forgive what happened before. The wedding will be rescheduled for tomorrow.
I clenched my fists to keep from punching him in my rage. He was nothing but a despicable jerk. On the wedding day at a grand church, I walked the aisle alone, feeling heavy-hearted. The place was packed with wealthy guests. People chatted with whispers about the beautiful bride, but there were also some disdainful looks from some snobby girls. I didn't care. I stood at the altar facing my loathsome fiancé.
For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health.
I do. Those were the words Aaron expected to hear. But before I could say I do, the church doors burst open and Dexter walked in, holding the bag of money I left him. The guests started to whisper again.
Who is that?
Who does he think he is?
I'm here to stop this wedding.
Aaron's goons rushed to block Dexter, but he threw the bag of money at them, causing bills to scatter all over the floor. In a flash, he ran to me, grabbing my hand, intending for us to escape. Aaron grabbed my other hand, and the scene looked like something out of a K-drama. They fought over me, but I knew who to choose. I bit down hard on Aaron's hand, making him let go with a yelp. Once again, I grabbed my dress and ran away from my own wedding. Just before we could escape, the church door slammed shut in front of us. Why? The snobby girls looked extremely annoyed.
Nice show, but bride snapping is illegal.
Who here is the real criminal?
Dexter looked at Aaron, who now appeared flustered.
You tricked Estella's parents, forcing them to borrow money from you to keep their house. You charged outrageous interest, and then forced Estella to marry you to settle the debt.
He flirted with other girls right in front of me. He disrespected me and treated me like a puppet. I bravely exposed my deceitful fiancé. Everyone turned to look at Aaron with judgment and contempt.
Misunderstanding. I can explain.
The sound of police sirens blared outside. The girls opened the doors and urged us to leave.
Hurry up. You deserve a better life. We'll handle this creep.
As they prepared to pounce on Aaron, he panicked and tried to flee. Dexter grabbed my hand and we ran outside. Only then did I notice he was also wearing a suit, looking just like a groom.
Estella, I can feel your feelings for me, and I feel the same. I was so frantic when you left. I can make money, but I can't lose you. Estella, will you be my wife?
Seeing the man kneel before me, I couldn't hold back my emotions. He loved everything about me, even when I had nothing. I do! In front of all the police, we hugged each other joyfully.
That's my grandson!
She pushed through the crowds and jumped in front of us, did a happy dance as if she'd never been bedridden. Dexter pulled me close and gave me a passionate kiss.
I love you, Estella.
Everyone was buzzing when Jake smoothly dribbled, leaped into the air, and pulled off a spectacular shot. As the stage curtain rose, two goddesses were engrossed in their violin playing while Cedric's hands danced over a canvas. Together, the four of them made a one-of-a-kind performance. Hey, I'm Eliana from California. We're the it crowd at school. Me and Chloe rock the violins. Cedric's the artsy type into his paintings. And Jake, he's got the underclassmen swooning with his athleticism. We've been tight since we were kids. Our parents are like best buds. But our friendship took a hit after something pretty awful went down. Before we dive into my tragic tale, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for MDA, okay? That hair clip's gorgeous on you.
It's a gift from my grandma.
We decided to meet up in the cafeteria after the show. My stomach was screaming for some food.
You okay, Cedric?
Which goddess stole your soul this time? Cut it out, dude. Just thinking. Don't mind me.
Chloe's always looking out for everyone, while Jake's just a kid at heart. Even though his dad's the principal. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. A text from Cedric. Wait, where'd he go so fast? Meet me at the school's garden. What's up with that? Amidst the sweet scent of flowers, I found him painting, totally in the zone. His face was angelic, and those blue eyes, like the sky. No wonder you get love letters in your locker every day. Cedric looked at me, smiling gently. There was something different about his gaze today.
I don't need those, Eliana. These feelings have been growing, like a canvas waiting for its colors. I can't hold it back any longer. I love you, Eliana.
I was totally caught off guard by his confession. Never thought I'd have to choose between friendship and love. I'm sorry, but I really value our friendship. Isn't it great, being such close friends? I could see the disappointment in his eyes. I like Cedric, but just as a friend. Above all, I didn't want to ruin the pure bond our group shared.
I'll wait until you're ready.
Cedric!
It's okay. I'll finish this painting before I head back. You should go.
I left the garden heavy-hearted, feeling like I'd done something wrong. But the next morning, Cedric was back to his cheerful self, as if yesterday never happened. I even wondered if it was all just a dream. Only Chloe was acting strange. She didn't sit with me like usual, didn't talk, just quietly finished her lunch.
Hey, what's up with Chloe? Thought you two told each other everything. Hold up! There's a charity event at the community center this weekend. My dad's really hoping we can make it.
Me and Cedric quickly agreed. Chloe, on the other hand, took some convincing from Jake before reluctantly nodding. That was odd, considering she'd always been so kind. That day was busy at the community center. Me and Jake were scooping soup for everyone while Cedric handed out bread. Chloe was playing shop with some kids nearby. Tiring, but fun.
Whoops!
No worries, I'll grab a towel. Searching through our bags for a towel, I accidentally, ouch, pricked myself on something sharp.
Oh snap, you're bleeding. Let me see.
Cedric carefully bandages my finger. Meanwhile, Chloe comes over looking annoyed.
It's just a tiny cut. No biggie, right?
What's your problem with me, Chloe? Instead of answering, she just storms off, leaving me wondering, what's her deal? The next day when I hit school, there was this crowd that snagged my attention. Getting closer, I spotted the mess on the floor. Paint splatters everywhere. Squished tubes of paint scattered around, alongside some snapped brushes and smudges. Cedric was standing in the middle, totally frozen, hands clenched and shaking. What the heck happened?
How did this even happen?
That was the paint set we gifted him! Chloe circled the scene. The crowd kept growing until the supervisor had to step in to calm the chaos. The four of us ended up in the cafeteria, trying to comfort Cedric. Someone did this on purpose. After a bit, we concluded that some dude at school must have messed with Cedric because of all the girls crushing on him.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
But something didn't sit right with me. That was just a reason to make him feel better. It didn't stop there. 3 days later, Jake screamed over the phone, freaking out that his basketball was mysteriously deflated.
It was signed by Kobe Bryant. It meant everything to me.
Jake's basketball was punctured all over. We looked at each other, sure that someone was targeting our group. But why? Jake took a few days off for a mental break while Chloe and I had a performance coming up, and we couldn't miss it. Yet, she's been kinda cold to me since that charity event. Right before going on stage, she kept dodging my attempts to cheer her up. Until... What's wrong, Chloe? My violin bow! It's gone! I can't find it anywhere! I checked her violin case again. Nothing. What now? The performance was about to start, and here we were, struck by bad luck again. This time, Chloe. The supervisor urged us on, and I had no choice but to leave her behind. Despite the heavy heart, the performance went well. Grateful for the applause, I rushed backstage to find my best friend. I covered your part. We did great!
Oh, really? You covered my part well.
Eliana is still my absolute queen!
Thought they were inseparable. Turns out Eliana can shine on her own. Chloe,
Forget it. My fault for being careless, losing my stuff.
Before I could hold Chloe back, the supervisor and others came to congratulate me. Little did I know, my effort would end up like this. We met up in the cafeteria a week later, but the air was thick with tension. Chloe was the one to break the eerie silence.
Don't you guys find it odd?
Cedric and I looked at Chloe, her face a mix of hesitation and suspicion.
All of us have had bad luck except Eliana, who's been untouched.
What do you mean? Do you think I'm behind all this?
You said it, not me.
Cedric had to hold me back before I exploded at Chloe. I was so disappointed in my best friend. As Chloe and Jake walked away, only Cedric stayed.
It could all be a coincidence. Chloe's being paranoid and Jake's too soft.
I looked at him, feeling the cracks in our friendship. The trust and goodwill were fading.
I've always got your back, Eliana. No matter how they treat you, I'm on your side.
I trusted myself too. No way I'd push such stunts. But who would? Why pin everything on me? I had to find out who was tearing our friendship apart. Starting with the first incident, Cedric smashed paint boxes. I was on it, digging around, convinced there had to be something to crack this case wide open. I hit up everyone's shoe rack, finding this one pair with paint smeared on the sole. But nope, that didn't prove much since the place was swamped that day. But didn't everyone notice the paint was already dry by then? So, this paint on the sole... Then there was Jake's basketball, punctured all over. Needles, maybe? Something sharp for sure. But who'd carry something that sketchy around? Ouch!
Oh snap, you're bleeding. Let me see.
It's just a tiny cut. No biggie, right?
That moment, I was digging through that backpack. Could it be? No, my friend couldn't do this. Such a vile betrayal. If my hunch was right, the violin bow would be here. 'Cause there's no way they'd carry it around without drawing attention. I tried everything to break into that locker, wishing it wasn't there, that all my suspicions were wrong. But no, there it was, hidden behind a stack of books. Now I was sure who was behind all this and framing me. Disappointment flooded me, but so did disgust. I was gonna set a trap and lure the culprit in. That Sunday was gorgeous. Jake and Chloe were setting up the tent. Jake seemed a bit cheerier after a rough few weeks, while Chloe continued to ignore me. Cedric and I were collecting dry branches in the woods, planning to start a small fire for grilling. Cedric, maybe it's time we face the truth. He looked at me, clueless. Still as handsome as ever. If the group stops hanging out together, maybe, just maybe, you and I could officially become a couple. I walked away, leaving him in a whirlwind of emotions. That night, I sat, listening to my friends chat by the crackling fire. We'd been so close since we were kids, grown up together. Heartbreaking to know it all ends after today. Later, when everyone was asleep, someone got up, quietly grabbed my backpack, and went to the stream, dumping everything into it to be swept away. It's really you, isn't it? Cedric?
I'm so disappointed in you.
You're totally insane! You were gonna frame me? Cedric was at a loss for words. He couldn't justify his actions or defend himself. But why? Just because?
You rejected me. You valued our friendship over my love.
Eliana did nothing wrong. It was all you. You were wrong from the start. Months have passed since then. Cedric transferred schools and we haven't heard from him since. Still, if he changes and comes back, we're ready to forgive. Man, I was mad at you. Thought if you and Cedric got together, it'd be awkward for the group. Silly. I'd protect our beautiful friendship no matter what.
Guys, help! Those girls back there want me to be their boyfriend, but I can't date all of them.
As we all know, photosynthesis is a crucial biological process that occurs in plants.
Oh, snow. It's starting to pour. Here we go again. Ah! I'm trying to catch my breath. Chill out. Damn. Bet they're all thinking, what the heck is her problem? Sorry for cutting in. We were talking about... What was it again? Haha. Come on. Stop looking at me like I just did something super weird. Just got a little startled, okay? Hey there. It's me, Rosa from LA. Been scared of thunder since that accident. Well, it's a long story. Like and subscribe MDA and come back to my story, okay? All I remember about that accident is waking up in the hospital feeling like I've been hit by a truck. Oh my dear Rosa, how are you feeling? Sweetie? The doctor says I've got this temporary amnesia thing going on. Everything before the accident is just a blank in my head. That person... I'm pretty sure she's my mom now. She didn't know much either. Mom said she got a call in the middle of the night about me being an emergency and she was freaking out. A few weeks later, I'm out of the hospital and back to school. Mom's been super supportive, trying to help me adjust, and everything's slowly getting back to normal. Except for one thing that's been torturing me. Thunderstorms. Mom says I was never scared of them before. Rosa, are you sure you're up for school today? Yeah, I'm good. Feeling a lot better. Guess this fear's got something to do with the accident. What exactly happened to me again? Surely my BFF at school, Mom said his name's Ronnie, would have some juicy info.
Excuse me, isn't this my seat?
Huh? Oh, this seat? So, where's mine then? I'm Rosa.
I know, Rosa. This class ain't got room for you.
Before I could even react, this jerk moves in and shoves me back. Oh no! Just as the vase is about to hit me, someone's arms are suddenly shielding me. Tall, glasses, and those sparkling blue eyes. I know his face, but can't place him. My head's pounding, making me dizzy. Vague memories flash through my mind like waves. A voice next to me. Stormy weather, blinding lights. I'm in pain all over. Then the person in front of me. Who is he?
Rosa? Rosa? Are you okay?
What?
You're...
Ronnie! It's me, Ronnie! You're back, Rosa!
Ronnie, huh? What about the guy who caught the vase this morning? Who was he? And why is everyone in class giving me these looks? A million questions make my head spin even more. I decided to get the lowdown from Ronnie.
It was just a car accident. Some drunk driver hit you on your way home. Anyway, Rosa, what matters is you're back and healthy. That's all that counts.
But the guy who caught the vase this morning, who is he? He looked familiar.
Him? That's Flynn. Ridiculous how he tries to act all heroic. Listen, Rosa, Flynn's an oddball. Nobody at school likes him. Stay away from Flynn if you don't want to get dragged down. Got it? Rosa, this time I'll make sure to protect you.
Even though things still felt a bit off, Ronnie's sincerity made me feel more at ease. He took me to all our usual spots, sharing tons of fun stories about us. It's awesome having a close friend like him. But of course, Ronnie's warning couldn't stop me from obsessing over Flynn and wanting to uncover the truth. Something was off about him. I started shadowing Flynn at school. It's easy to see why folks think he's a weirdo. Dude barely hangs out anywhere but the classroom and lab. Seems like he's super into science. Alright, I've got my in with Flynn.
Hey, time to clean up the lab, miss. Oh, non-Newtonian fluid, right? It turns solid when you punch it hard?
Yeah, amazing, huh? Hi. We might have known each other before, but you know about the accident, right? Sorry if I don't remember you. Just wanted to say thanks for helping me with the vase thing the other morning.
No problem. I'm Flynn. Nice to talk to you again, really.
Just like that, Flynn and I became an inseparable duo against all odds. People got beef with us? Whatever. With Flynn, I could be myself. We geeked out on science experiments, and I even held my own against him. Flynn was smart and funny, always had the coolest science facts. Felt like we were two peas in a pod.
Hawaiian pizza or pepperoni? 1, 2, 3.
Pepperoni! With a ton of...
ketchup, obviously.
Me hanging out with Flynn in the lab all the time got Ronnie heated. But I was cool with Flynn and didn't care much until I realized Ronnie's warning had come true. The bullying pranks on Flynn got way out of hand, affecting me too. Trash in our lockers, graffiti on our work, or even super glue in our bike locks. The climax was that incident in the cafeteria. Ah! It was so sudden. The panic didn't let me see it was just a prank.
Look at her pathetic face! I told you this would be hilarious!
I was so mad, my face was on fire. But before I could stand up, Flynn zoomed over and dropped the jerk with a knockout punch. First time, since I lost my memory, I saw Flynn that mad.
Not funny, jerk. Apologize to her now.
Or what, freak show?
And just like that, a huge brawl broke out in the lunchroom. Of course, Flynn got detention right after. Flynn, are you okay? Let me help with that wound. OMG! Maybe you need some ice?
I'm fine, Rosa. Thanks. If you're not busy, wanna grab ice cream later? I'm getting
chocolate. In that moment, I felt myself drowning in Flynn's ocean-like eyes. Oh no! I think I'm falling for him!
Hey, Rosa, snap out of it!
Didn't I warn you to stay away from that weirdo? See the consequences now?
I don't care! They're just mean. Ronnie, don't you think it's wrong to follow the crowd in ostracizing Flynn like that?
He deserves it. He's bad news, Rosa. He staged that car accident of yours. Why? So he could hog all the glory in the science fair.
Ronnie's words hit me like arrows, aching in my brain. After checking out some online news about the science fair before the accident, I found a pic of myself in the prelims. Yep, I was really in that competition. As much as I wanted to believe Ronnie was full of it, I couldn't just act all normal around Flynn anymore.
Rosa, you...
Sorry, Flynn. Can we, not see each other for a bit?
Watch out! Let me... Got it. I'll wait for you.
God, I knew I hurt him, and I hated that. But I needed time to clearly remember everything that happened. One evening, I was at school late to finish up a science project, and my worst nightmare came back. Damn fear of thunder! Deep breaths, Rosa. It'll pass. Then a loud thunderclap made me startled, and I accidentally knocked over an alcohol lamp on the table. Oh no, trouble again! I could totally handle this, but not with the storm and lightning going on. Please pick up. Help me! I didn't want my mom to worry, so I tried calling Ronnie, but all I got was hopeless beeping. No other choice. There was only one person I could think of right then.
Rosa? What's up?
Help me! I'm at the school lab. The alcohol lamp spilled in.
Are you okay? Hang tight. I'm on my way. Just breathe deep and stay calm. Remember, you were never afraid of thunder before, Rosa.
Flynn started guiding me to grab the fire extinguisher near the entrance. His warm voice kinda helped drown out my fear. Come on, Rosa. You're not scared of thunder. You got this. I got up, walked over to the fire extinguisher, and managed to put out the fire before it spread. Done! I did it, Flynn! A headache like a hammer hit me right after.
Rosa? Rosa! Are you okay? Is everything alright?
I remembered everything. Ronnie was a liar. The night of the accident, it was also raining with thunder, and Flynn had called me like this. Our science project was sabotaged right before the final round, and he found out when he came back to school for his forgotten backpack.
Rosa, stay calm. I got this. Be careful. It's pouring out there.
I rushed to the school in the stormy night when I heard that project was our hard work for 4 months. Then, the moment I saw Ronnie sneaking out of the school gate was also when a car was coming fast. Everything was clear after I confronted Ronnie.
I've always liked you from the first day we met, Rosa. But you only had eyes for Flynn and your science experiments. I was so scared of losing you. Jealousy made me unable to control myself, and I tried to ruin your project. Rosa, can you forgive me?
Ronnie, you've always been a friend I truly valued, incomparable to anyone else. But if you really cared about how I felt, you wouldn't have done this. I forgive you, but things can never go back to how they were. Ronnie decided to transfer schools not long after. I believe he learned a valuable lesson from all this. We can only overcome our fears by believing in ourselves. As for me and Flynn, who I now remembered has been my crush for 2 years, well, things seem to be going pretty well. Oops! Sorry, the fear of thunder's gotten better, but sometimes I still get scared.
It's okay. I kinda like this better anyway.
During my birthday party, someone picked up my sister Ellie and complimented on her adorableness. My parents were delighted. Thank you. I am so blessed with both of my beautiful girls. Oh, is that girl yours too? How dare they not notice me? I should have been the star tonight. I climbed onto the table, pushed the birthday cake aside, then flaunted my enchanting dance moves. However, everyone cheered loudly while only looking at my sister. Ellie is so cute. Cute? What? She got no moves. Come on, everyone, look at me. Suddenly, I tripped and fell on the huge pile of gift boxes, and my parents had to stop the party immediately to rescue me. Booyah! I'm Evelyn, a girl who had always been overshadowed by Ellie, her perfect sister who was 1 year older. From a young age, Ellie had been blessed with outstanding looks and achievements. I usually avoided her in public so I wouldn't get compared. One time, I actively registered myself in a school mathematics contest. and the prize was an electronic dictionary, which I would die for. To win it, I stayed up 3 nights straight studying, but all of a sudden my sister decided she would participate in the contest too. It frightened me out of my wits. Soon the competition took place, and we both entered the final round. When it was my turn, I answered confidently, 12.4375. Suddenly from behind me came a small voice. It's 13. The teacher heard that and turned to Ellie. What's your answer? She hesitated. Gosh, don't do it, Ellie. It would put us both in a really awkward situation. But then she said it aloud, 13.4375. And that was the correct answer. Everyone clapped loudly for her, but as for me, I was so embarrassed that I quickly fled from there, while tears welled up in my eyes. And of course, I tripped like every girl in a WOA animated story universe would do. That night I went home in tears. More shockingly, my mom informed me that she and Dad no longer see eye to eye, so they would live separately. I would go with my mom. Before I could wrap my head around the situation, my mom dragged me out of the house right that night. Since then, I barely saw my dad and Ellie. It was harsh, but also relieving in a way. After the mathematics contest, I didn't want to talk to her anymore. Soon after, my mom and I moved to New Jersey. When I turned into a teenager, I got into Ward Law, Hartridge High. There, I became famous and became the #1 candidate for the student council president. One day, when I was waiting for the school bus, suddenly a nervous-looking guy holding a map in his hand approached me. Do you know where Wardlaw Hartridge High is? I enthusiastically showed him the way. Suddenly, someone ran quickly behind me. Sensing something wrong, I checked my bag and found that the man had stolen from me. Oh no, my purse! I was about to chase him when suddenly the guy who asked for directions took my Gucci bag and ran in the opposite direction. I helplessly screamed for help. Unbelievably, another robber about my age appeared and snatched the bag from that guy. I immediately shouted, "Help me! There's a robbery!" That third robber suddenly walked to me with my bag in his hand. Did he want to extort me? I angrily punched that jerk and sent him flying to the ground. A strange book fell from him. The boy hurriedly picked up the book and whimpered weakly, "I only wanted to give it back to you." Embarrassed, I helped him up. When I learned that he's William, I felt even more guilty and horrified because he's the new student at my school. To thank him and to apologize properly, I gave him a tour around the school and also my phone number. As we talked, I realized that William was pretty cute, and he was actually easy on the eyes. Before I knew it, I had crushed on him. A week later, I was sitting in my classroom with my friends when suddenly the teacher came in and introduced a new student. "Hi everyone, this is our new student, Ellie." Wait, isn't that... OMG, Evelyn, you study here too? Everyone started whispering and complimenting on how beautiful Ellie was. Soon she became popular and appeared in the school forums. It was not a surprise either. Boys started flocking over her, but only William was indifferent and cared more about me. Once he took me to see a horror movie. While I screamed non-stop, he gently took my hand, and surprisingly, he kissed me. "Don't be afraid, I'm here with you." Wow, I wish this kiss would last forever. The next day, William promised to join me at an auction for lunch. My school was planning to hold a fundraising activity by selecting the 10 most popular girls at school to have lunch with the highest bidders. When the auction took place, I eagerly waited for my turn to go on stage, when suddenly, my phone rang. "Hey Evelyn, guess what? You've dropped to the 2nd place on the candidates list for the student council president role." "What? No way!" I opened my phone to check. I saw the one who just took my place was none other than Ellie. I was speechless. Right that moment, the principal called the 10 selected girls on the stage, but one was late. Well, whatever. At least most of them would bid for me, right? "One girl is missing. I'm here." Damn it! Ellie appeared with a beautiful dress. She made me so nervous. The auction started. When it was Ellie's turn, the boys became extremely competitive. $10, $20. Suddenly, William stood up and said, $100. His words were like a slap to my face. Wasn't it just yesterday that he and I were kissing? I nudged my sister's shoulder and grunted, "He's my crush." Don't you dare steal him. You're better off without him. I'll talk to you later. I angrily tugged at her cake basket, but she pulled away faster, causing me to fall to the ground. I was stunned when I saw my sister leaving with my crush. She was so horrible. After I fell face down on stage, everyone laughed at me and left. No one wanted to bid for me anymore. There was only one fatty who bidded me for $10 and was immediately accepted. However, he came up and snatched the cake basket in my hand. I only want this. Thanks. Then he casually left me alone. In the blink of an eye, from the school's most popular, I became their laughingstock. Frustrated, I quickly ran away. I would never forgive those two. I ran across the canteen and saw the two of them chatting happily together. I rushed to William and asked, what exactly are we to each other? Sorry, Boo. I was just playing around. I would tell everyone about your true face. If you have proof, go ahead. With that, he coldly pushed me down and went away. Ellie hurriedly ran over, but I angrily threw the lunch on the table at her. You're a lying attention seeker. With that, I left and blocked all of her communications, no matter how Ellie tried to explain. The next morning, I went to school with a broken heart. Suddenly, a student holding a stack of papers bumped into me. A piece of paper fell out, and I was surprised to see that there was a list of girls' types that William aimed to conquer. The student council president section had my name on it. There was even a detailed plan of how he arranged the robbery to get close to me. At that moment, suddenly I saw Ellie standing at a high building with a loudspeaker. William is a jerk. He's been adding girls to his girlfriend collection. Ellie tore through the pages in William's book and tossed them. Realizing that his treasured book was stolen, William furiously rushed to Ellie, but all of his victims rushed to catch him first. Ellie removed her sneakers and was ready to join the girls, but stopped midway. Thinking for a bit, then handed them to me instead. Vent your anger on who deserves it. It turns out before the auction, Ellie overheard William talking to his pals about how he was about to finish his girlfriend collection book. Dating a student council president was what he had been aiming for. Therefore, he could easily replace me. After learning that I was only a pawn on his board, my sister decided to fake dating him to steal his collection book. It must be done quickly, and I didn't give her the chance to explain, so Ellie couldn't tell me the truth. Finally, I took her sneakers and gave William a lesson he would never forget. After dealing with that womanizer, we went to the rooftop to talk. Turns out, at the mathematics contest, the truth was that Ellie tried to whisper the correct answer to me, but got caught, so she had no choice but to answer in my place. She didn't mean to embarrass me. Now I finally have a chance to give you this. She took out the electronic dictionary and gave it to me. Ellie said she wanted to do it the very day she got it, but didn't have a chance to do that. Dad was so angry with Mom that he forbade her to find us. When my sister found out I also studied in this school, she was elated and decided to transfer right away. Gosh, I had allowed jealousy to blind me for so long. We both hugged each other tightly and our bond was once again mended. I was serving a sandwich when suddenly my manager got angry and threw her phone at my head. How dare you seduce my boyfriend at the pub yesterday? Huh? Which pub? I was about to argue back, but she held her phone in front of me. On the phone, there was a girl dancing sensually next to a handsome guy. However, the unbelievable thing was that she looked exactly like me. I blinked rapidly in fear. Needless to say, I was fired on the spot. Hi, I'm Emma, a poor orphan who was found at an amusement park, and now I'm a jobless person who was fired because of a doppelganger. But who is that girl, and why does she look exactly like me? Please like and subscribe before I tell you my story. Ever since I was fired for no reason, many more strange things had happened to me. Once I was delivering pizza when suddenly a Porsche stopped me. A vulgar guy got out of the car and approached me with a cold smile. Do you remember me, sweet cheeks? We just met in the pub last night. I knew for sure that he had mistaken me for that girl, and I told him directly, look, you've confused me with someone else. But he kept harassing me. Come on, are you acting in a movie or what? Playing as a pathetic pizza delivery? Furious, I grabbed a milk carton and smashed it on his head, then rode away. He madly cursed at me while jumping into his car to chase me. Panicked, I lost my balance and fell hard onto the nearby grass. My leg was injured and he was getting closer. We reached the dead end. You'll pay for pouring milk on my head. He was about to hit me when suddenly from behind, a young man in a black suit gave him a fatal blow. I was about to run away when he blocked my way. Lady Pia, calm down, you're safe. Please follow us home. With the name tag on his chest, I learned that his name was Eric. I took Eric's hand and thanked him. Wait, lady? Home? That's right. I could use this opportunity to find out who my doppelganger was. I replied eagerly. Sure, let's go home. There's something I gotta find out. So I let the bodyguards take me home. Unbelievably, in front of me was a huge and luxurious villa. Oh my god, my doppelganger owned this place? I kicked the door open, burst into the villa, and grunted. Okay, where is she? Her parents were sitting on the sofa, and strangely enough, they couldn't tell the difference between me and their own daughter. The father calmly counted the money and warned me. Pia, if you want to live in peace with $1 million secured in the future, stay at home and stop running away. What? $1 million? Even in my wildest dreams, an orphan like me didn't dare to think of that amount. Turns out Pia kept sneaking away from home because she loved partying. If I was her, I certainly wouldn't have become so spoiled. Well, there was nothing stopping me now, right? And so I made a crazy decision of becoming Pia for a while. Early in the morning, I took the initiative to go to Pia's parents' room and said loudly, I'll be obedient and stay at home today. Her father walked past me without a care. That's strange. It was hard to imitate a wealthy lady at first, but I learned quite quickly thanks to YouTube. I even carefully wore long sleeves to cover my childhood scar. After that, I was given a credit card, a branded bag, and everything that Pia had. The only difference was that I was more polite and respectful towards her parents and the house staff. One evening, while I was reading and eating apples in the living room, suddenly a powerful woman entered the villa. All the house staff bowed to her. Mrs. Susan, welcome back. I also unconsciously released the apple and bowed to her. She looked at me suspiciously and then bowed to me. Good evening, young lady. It turned out that she was the longtime master housekeeper of this place. Oh no, I was so scared that I blinked uncontrollably again. Mrs. Susan looked at me even more suspiciously, so I immediately dashed into my room to avoid blowing my cover. Damn, it was really close. After that, I kept finding her following me around and observing me whenever I was eating, painting, or even talking on the phone. I was terrified that she would discover the truth. One day, my parents took me to a restaurant. As I was eating a delicious steak, suddenly a guy sat down across from me, whom my parents introduced as my future fiancé. Scared out of my wits, I still managed to force a smile and continue the dinner with him. During the meal, he kept touching my hand without my consent. He even rudely told me to eat foods that I hate. Don't be a baby. It's good for your health. But I don't want it. Come on, open your mouth. I stood up and slammed my fist on the table. Eric immediately rushed over to squash his hand away. If it's against the lady's wish, you shouldn't force her. What are you to stop me? The man rudely grabbed Eric's collar but was quickly knocked out by him. Eric quickly helped me get out of the restaurant as I wished. After that, Pia's parents furiously scolded me and even grounded me. They even fired Eric, although he was the only one who helped me out of that awkward situation. Feeling that things were going too far, and because I didn't want Eric to be unjustly fired, I decided to tell everyone the truth. That night, I said in front of the billionaire couple, I'm sorry I lied to you, but I'm not Pia. I'm Emma, an orphan. I explained that because my life was too difficult, I couldn't resist the temptation of living in luxury for a change. But contrary to my fear, Pia's father burst out laughing, while her mother coolly ordered the bodyguard to restrain me. We already knew you weren't Pia, but that didn't matter. We need a child to marry that young man. He's the valuable son of a powerful tycoon. Unexpectedly, because of greed, I got myself trapped. I was imprisoned by Pia's parents from then on. But no, I refused to do what they wanted and marry that madman. I must get out of here. That night, I took a baseball bat and planned my escape. Waiting for everyone to sleep, I sneaked downstairs, but suddenly heard a rattling sound. So I quickly hid in a corner. Soon enough, I saw Mrs. Susan appear with a box of old toys. Then she put it in a cellar. I stood behind her trying to think of something to distract the master housekeeper, when suddenly I saw her holding a picture. In there, it was a baby who was none other than me. The baby also had a scar on her left hand. In great shock, I dropped my bat and screamed and fell backwards. When Mrs. Susan saw me, she covered my mouth and gestured to me to shut up. I was gasping for breath as she tried to calm me down. Somehow, her touch felt familiar to me. The woman hugged me and burst into tears. You finally returned, my lady. Turns out, I was the eldest daughter of this family who went missing many years ago during the family's visit to an amusement park. It was also the park where I was found. But the horrible thing was that my parents never tried to find me. Mrs. Susan said they never cared for their children. The only thing they cared about was money and marrying their daughter off to secure a financial deal. In fact, Pia constantly left just to escape from them. However, due to her rich but heartless parents, she became spoiled and wasted all her time on wild parties. Mrs. Susan teared up. It's for the best that both of you left this hellhole. Then she hugged me. At this moment, a young man appeared behind her. It was Eric. Mrs. Susan had asked him to help me escape. Eric, get Emma out of here. Eric told the truth that he had known about my identity the moment we met, but after seeing that I was kind and lovable, he didn't have the heart to let me suffer like Pia, so he would help me however I needed. After that, Mrs. Susan turned off the alarms, Eric and I got out of that horrible villa and never came back. Thanks to that, I finally know who my family is. But I really don't want to go back there at all. It was the worst experience, but I still wish I could see Pia again. I want to make up for my sister after what our parents did to her.